Okay, well, another great interview and an exciting time for gold investors. For the last interview today, I have the pleasure of speaking to Luke Norman, the executive chairman and co-founder at US Gold Corp. Ticker on the NASDAQ is USAU. How are you doing, Luke?
Well, thank you, Melanie. Yourself?
I'm doing good, thanks. So just to get us started, can you provide an overview of US Gold Corp and the 3 projects that you're advancing?
Certainly. We've got a gold and copper porphyry in Wyoming that we're soon to have permitted. It's a bucket-ready project. And we have 2 very big pure gold exploration projects, one in Idaho and one in Nevada. Our project in Nevada in particular is a monster as we see it, but right now we're focusing on our copper gold asset, and that's the one we'll talk today in Wyoming. That's the CK Gold project. It's about 1 million ounces of gold and 250 million pounds of copper in reserve, sitting just near Cheyenne, Wyoming.
That's great. And I know people are very bullish on both of those commodities. What are the key points new investors should be aware of with US Gold, especially assuming they're not sophisticated investors in the mining sector?
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, first and foremost, especially to a largely US audience today, we're NASDAQ listed, which is a bit of a rarity amongst our peer group. Most of the junior mining companies are listed up in Canada. We're purely listed in the US here. Trade on NASDAQ under USAU. I think if we click over to the next slide here, it'll show you our share structure. But we have also a unique kind of a situation whereby we only have 9.3 million shares out. So we've got approximate 45 million US market cap today, with a lot of upside to that, clearly. So unique share structure. Copper and gold, as you pointed out, 2 very valuable commodities in the marketplace right now. So we'll be developing and producing a copper concentrate that's highly marketable globally out of the project. And I think one of the key takeaways for us is our location. So we're going to produce about 110,000 ounces a year under our current reserve schedule for 10 years, but there's a lot of exploration upside beyond that within the project. And that's gold equivalents, of course, and that's a combination of about 70% gold and 30% copper.
Can you discuss any partnerships or collaborations that you have or in talks with for the advancement of CK?
Yeah, certainly. Well, actually, that will be answered purely by our location. So another unique aspect to this project and what's helped us really move this along is we are located in the state of Wyoming. Wyoming's purely a resource state. The support from the local community, from the state government, etc., has allowed us to be in the spot we're in now. Like I said, we're expecting permits within the next couple of months here. If we were on federal ground, that would not be the case. My peer group that are here and been presenting today, they're challenged both in Canada and the US and beyond with dealing with federal bureaucracies when they get into the permit process. Ours has been just as arduous as dealing with federal government, but having the township of Cheyenne 20 miles due east to us, as you can see, we're about an hour-and-a-half drive north of Denver International Airport. The location has really allowed us to collaborate with the state and get this through. So, it's exciting times for us, and what a great partnership we've had.
Can you sort of take us through what the timeline is or what your plans are going through to the end of 2024 or even into next year in 2025?
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, we've spent the last 3 years engineering and collaborating, working with the state of Wyoming to understand this copper gold porphyry, to understand the economic benefits of this porphyry system. And we've put together, a really good, robust mine plan. It's very simple mining. It's an open pit. The mineralization is exposed at surface. And again, all we do is process rock into a fine sand, which is a concentrate, and that's shipped off site. So we intend now to also look at some of the other economic attributes to this project. what we discovered through the engineering process was our waste rock is a highly valuable source of aggregates in the area, and aggregates are in high demand. So anything from rail ballast to concrete additives. There's a huge amount of growth going on in the Front Range of Colorado next door to us. So our next step will be to bring in some of those additional economic benefits into our feasibility, and ultimately break ground and start producing.
So if we could just go and take like a sort of a macro view of gold and copper, where do you see the price heading over the course of this year and into next year?
Well, I've been very confident in the price of gold and copper for quite some time. So maybe I'm more of a broken clock. The fact that we've got a gold-centric, copper-centric market. But I do believe that's actually the case of a bit of inelasticity between the price of gold staying stagnant, copper even going through some pressures because of China's real estate issues, etc. But now I think the market's starting to realize that both gold and copper are grossly underpriced relative to the amount of inflation that we've experienced over the last 3 to 5 years. So I think that the long term for gold and copper is really good, really robust. And as you'll see actually on the screen, the snapshot we have of our economic forecast. Now, keep in mind this economic forecast was derived in December of 2021. So I mentioned inflation. Certainly inflation will have impacted these numbers from the cost of development. That's the CapEx number you'll see, 222 million. We think that number's gone up probably into the 260 range. But on that sensitivities table, you'll also recognize that we utilized $1,625 gold per ounce. It's up in the $2,300 range now. And our copper price at $325 also gives us a heck of a lot of margin. So our all-in sustaining cost, that $800 number you see in the table, that number would have gone up a bit, but not significantly. So it's a very high margin, well-located, and extremely fundable project. And again, none of those economics include this highly valuable aggregate source that we're now going to start factoring in.
Absolutely. So you're really hitting this at the right time, with where prices are going in the future, even the mid to long term.
Yeah, we're so well leveraged to copper and gold. It's wonderful. And having, again, waste rock that's highly valuable, those numbers are just going to improve.
Well, you've provided us with so much information. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, look, again, we are right on the cusp of receiving our permits to mine. I think that's a very, very valuable piece of information for prospective investors. Mm-hmm. As you can also see from our previous slide on the capital structure, we're very well managed from a share issuance perspective. We're not rushing out to dilute this into a massive equity raise into developing it. Our collaboration with the state allows us to be able to have very serious discussions with them regarding state bonding, potential municipal bonds to help raise the capital to develop this project. I think copper and gold in the right part of the world, we're really well leveraged, and it's a fun time to be an investor.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great.
Yeah, no, thank you, Melanie.